treatment house for this borehole. And what you can observe here at the columns is that you have some cracks here, some holes that you can see on the concrete surface. Ideally, this should not be visible. You wouldn't have any cracks. It will be as smooth as this surface here. The entire face should be this smooth. So what might have caused this is when they were pouring the concrete, they needed to do proper vibration. So there's a gadget called a vibrator. So once you pour concrete, you bring in the vibrator, you vibrate it severally, and then you'll have the mix going to all the aggregates and making sure the aggregates are bound together properly. So you can see here there's some holes. It's because the concrete mix, the water and the cement mixed together do not reach in between these coarse aggregates.
You vibrate it at the end or intermittently on the way up going?
You vibrate it intermittently. You can do a pour, then you vibrate, then you do another pour, and then you vibrate. You continue like that until you get to the top. So another problem with this, or another issue with this, it could be because of poor water cement ratio. So the concrete mix would have met the ratios in terms of aggregates, cement, sand, and coarse aggregate, but the water content, so we have an ideal water cement ratio which is 0.4 or 0.45, so that is ideal. So probably that was not met, and the water used here was not enough. That's why these sometimes it leads up to these honeycombs that you are seeing here. Yeah, and then something.
How can we verify that?
How can we verify that wasn't done?
No, that the quality is good initially.
Oh, initially, that okay. Yeah, for you to know that you have a good water cement ratio, there's a particular test, very simple test you can do on site. It's called the slump test. So whereby you have an apparatus that looks like a cone, and then you fill it up with the concrete you've mixed, then you overturn that, and then you measure the slump of the concrete. So once you measure the slump of the concrete, it's supposed to be within certain acceptable limits. If it doesn't move much, that means the water cement ratio is bad and water is little. Water is little. And if it moves excessively, it means you have excess water. So you need to adjust according to how the slump test behaves, and you either add more water into the mixer, or you add more aggregates and cement into the mixer, so that to achieve the right ratios. So here's something else that we need to be careful about. Also the mortar. You can see the mortar can become very brittle. So we also have acceptable mortar ratios between cement and sand. Ideally it should be 1:3. And sometimes if this mortar is placed and the heat is so much here, this mortar becomes brittle, and if you just touch it, it starts to break. So watering of this structure is very important, because we are in a very hot place. I know the ideal for watering this is the minimum could be 7 days, but in this area we need to water it for at least 2 weeks or 3 weeks, because this will help in the curing of this concrete. It will also help in the curing of the mortar.
How often do you have to water it?
So 2 times a day is acceptable, but here, because of the high temperatures, we are required to do it 3 times a day.